after the meeting?
I was the Lone Ranger.
Are you
Well, me
kidding?
and Jack Eller. That's an interesting board.
Which one?
Are
Career
you,
Source.
Huh?
are you kidding?
Career resource.
What I get about it?
Was he there?
Yeah,
Did he speak?
only when Mark Douglas asked him a question
Uh-huh.
during the meeting.
Okay, would you like to know what happened with your county? Soon-to-be county contractors board?
Yeah.
It went through like the fastest bill they had
Oh, yeah.
to decide on,
I bet it did. I wonder why.
and 100%.
Goody.
Nobody commented against. Kathleen presented it.
All right, good.
Boom, done.
That's
It
in the
still
House.
has.
It's still got to
right,
go through the
It's still got to
Senate.
go.
All right,
All right.
Pat, I am stunned. Who else was there?
The
Geller.
whole executive committee was there. Some of them were on the phone, which I really hate.
Leanne? Nicholas
Yeah.
Ball?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
Okay, so, do we
I
have
made
any?
some enemies today, let's just put it that way.
What?
I made some enemies.
Oh, well, that's what you're there for.
Whatever,
I
that's what
make
they
a-
pay me for, right?
Make a motion, we approve the November 27th meeting minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's move to the committee appointments roster, and Brad, you have the floor.
So the purpose of this meeting of the nominating committee is to make recommendations that will go to the February PSTA board meeting to replace Bill Johnson on his 3 committees that he has been serving on. As you know, he's been very active because he is, not because he's being term limited off PSTA, but because he's being term limited off the Clearwater City Council. And there's an election that's going to happen. So March will be his last meeting. So you can see that he serves on the Finance Committee, the Planning Committee, and he is the PSTA representative to Forward Pinellas. So on your other sheet here, I have a column of folks. Rachel sent out a
Wait
poll.
a sec, hold on. Come on, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you just please, because this is not clear to me at all. What are the committees that we are needing to replace?
Do you have this sheet, Ben?
I do have this sheet, but all it says, planning,
Doesn't it have the
finance,
yellow
and
markings
MPO.
on it?
An MPO.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I thought I
I'm-
heard you say something else.
I'm explaining
Forward
this
Pinellas.
sheet. I'm explaining this sheet, which has 3 columns on it.
Okay,
The first column lists the committee that we need to identify a representative for.
all right,
The second column represents known interested board members for the different slots, for the different committees. And the third column is just a reference guide for you of all 15 members of the PSTA board and the committees that they're on.
so, Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead, please.
does this mean that absolutely no one else on this entire board wanted to be on finance?
That nobody responded to the survey of board members.
I'm checking my deodorant on this. If I don't-
Well,
As
who's
the
on
chair.
it now, though?
Oh, it's over on the
It's
right-hand
on the right-hand
column.
side,
On finance?
yes,
Mhm.
the first pool.
Okay, you're on it, Joe.
Oh, chair.
Joe is the chair, Brian Scott, Dave
Dave.
Eggers, and John.
Richard
No,
Bennett.
Josh Schulman.
Richard Bennett, and Josh Schulman.
But both Bennett is the alternate, right?
Yes, so I would recommend that the permanent position, I mean, the one position the committee could take would just be to make Mr. Bennett
Mhm.
the permanent
Yeah,
member.
and then we would need another alternate, or can we live without an alternate?
You could live without an
What's our rule?
alternate.
What's our
I
rule?
thought, well, you
We
could
don't
say
have
the,
anybody else interested.
maybe you wouldn't vote on this as a recommendation, but maybe that would be the new person from Clearwater
Mhm.
when they come on board.
Okay,
Oh, that's a great idea.
okay, all right, that's fine. Okay. All right, so that would solve that first issue fairly
All right, do
easily.
we need a motion?
You want to do a motion on each one, or shall I do
Sure.
a motion on all three?
I think we need to do each one.
Okay, then I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so Richard Bennett will move up to a regular position, and then we will seek an alternate, possibly from the new person for Clearwater. Okay? All right. Now, next is the planning board position, and
What's this? Samantha?
Samantha's the only one interested in that?
Question.
Question, go ahead.
Brad, have you talked to Commissioner Finger about it?
I have not, but Rachel, didn't you talk to her?
I'm sorry, I'm doing my motion here.
Didn't you talk to Samantha about?
She just sent me an email saying she would be interested in planning.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, that's a change because previously she wasn't interested.
Well, my question would be, does she really want to be on it, number one? And number two, is she committed to coming to the meetings? And number three, will she be engaged?
Right, I think that last one is significant, because
Seriously.
she has not shown significant involvement.
She has
in
not
any-
shown any. But I do think that she has tried to convey that she would be interested in being more active, but I think she has to take responsibility for being active, given that we give her that opportunity. Right?
Well, I think volunteering for a committee is an indication that she wants to be more active.
It's a positive sign.
Yeah. I mean, she was going through a lot of personal issues a few months ago, but who knows if that's the right reason.
Question.
Go ahead.
Were you done, Chad?
I'm sorry?
Are you done?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
The new person that's coming in on Clearwater, and this is just a suggestion, why, do you think we should give him or her those 3 committees?
3?
Well,
not
Because we're
actually.
replacing Bill on 3.
It'll be a new commissioner, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a heavy
We don't
one.
know who it is
Well,
going
I
to
mean-
be, and Bill. Yeah, I asked Bill, and Bill wasn't even sure.
Mm.
It's gonna be.
Okay.
And
Well, I
there is-
mean, his replacement will, not here, but on the council will be a new person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New to
It
PSTA.
will not be a previous council person that's
Right.
recycling through or anything like
Right.
that.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was-
Well,
So-
I would vote, are you ready for a motion?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Did you have
No,
any?
I'm good.
Okay. I would move to appoint Samantha Finger.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay.
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, that's easy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, this one might not be so.
Now, the Board Pinellas motion has drawn a crowd, and so, I don't know if I should withdraw, not withdraw, but remove myself from being in charge of this particular motion, because there's so many people on here. Does everybody feel comfortable that it's okay for me to?
Well,
Since I'm one of
you
the-
and
I'm one of
3 of the 5
volunteers.
members of the
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah, okay, so everybody's, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this. This one's important because Forward Pinellas is rapidly becoming more and more important as we move forward with our transportation planning. And we need to have somebody who is going to be active, is going to be able to attend the meetings, and is going to represent the issues of PSTA effectively. Everybody on this list has already demonstrated their ability to do that. Let's have a discussion on ideas on how we resolve this. Anybody?
I have
Yes,
a
go
couple
ahead.
of observations that I would like to point out that
Okay.
might help us think about narrowing the list.
Okay?
number one, Commissioner Rice is already on PSTA as the representative for St. Pete.
On Fort Pinellas.
Forward
is?
P,
Okay.
you know what I
Okay,
know.
so-
okay.
Forward.
What-
So that's.
So why did she volunteer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's my understanding, when I spoke with her, that she wanted to be taken off of being a rep for St. Pete and would rather be the rep from PSTA.
Oh, all right. My second observation is that Brian Scott is not an elected official.
Right, I was gonna say, I
Number
don't
one.
know if
I
he has
have a-
qualifications for that.
Well, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the single most important issue that the MPO is going to be dealing with over the next 2 years is funding. And I feel very, very strongly that whoever the representative is from PSTA has to be aligned with the funding ask from PSTA and T-BARTA so that we can all begin the process of speaking with one voice and one message. And even right now, we're kind of in a quagmire about that because Forward Pinellas has already approached our county administrator asking for funding. T-BARTA has been charged with the legislature to be responsible for funding and implementing new projects. And whoever we appoint needs to be intimately familiar with those funding mechanisms and have the ability to convey and sway those folks who will be making those decisions. And so I really think Brian's got a ways to go before he qualifies for all of what I just said. And again, as it relates to Commissioner Wenger, we just appointed her to planning, and I'd like to see her perform there before she takes on another one.
Who do we have, who's the county commissioner have on MPO right now? Dave?
Right now, we have Commissioner Welch, Maroney, and Eggers.
Commissioner Maroney is the chair currently of the
He's the
council.
chair. And he'll be going off in November.
That was my question.
For all of those reasons, that's why I asked to be on there, because the MPO is the one transportation entity that I don't have enough knowledge about, that I would like to learn so I can be a better advocate on T-BARTA, because funding, regardless of if it comes from the state or the feds, flows first through the MPOs. Although that's all kind of up in the air too, because they're getting ready to make changes both at the state and federal level. So my understanding is. All right, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, anybody else?
I know
Okay.
Patty wants to be on it as
Yeah,
well.
Patty does want to be on it, Patty.
Yeah.
The only person from my area, I'm not talking about just Pinellas Park, but from my area that's on MPO is Sandra, and she may not be there much longer.
Well, may I respond to that?
Yep.
Actually, there are 3 county commissioners who are countywide, who represent every single municipality in this county. And with the exception of one of them, started their political career on a municipal government. So,
But not one of those county wides right now is on there.
That's right.
Forward Pinellas.
But
that's true.
I still
yeah.
believe that I could do an incredibly good job.
Okay. All right.
in
Commissioner.
Forward
Anybody else?
Pinellas.
All right, and now the reason I put my name in this is simply because of the fact that as a commissioner in a small city, our cities, and I represent 6 small cities actually, all those small cities are very unlikely to obtain recognition or representation on any of the county-wide boards. And so my thought is that in my role as the representative for 6 cities, that I could bring a variety of input, ideas, and suggestions, as well as being representative of the fact that we, as a county, want to include everybody and not just the larger municipalities or the larger regions of the county. So, as a small city, I should say, representative, I would have a fresh set of eyes and a fresh input to present ideas to what is really becoming an increasingly important component of our county issues. That's it.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Maybe
You wanted
I
to say
could-
something, Brad?
I don't want to
Yeah.
muddy a challenging situation here, which, ultimately, you don't have to make a recommendation. You can just go, you can just have a nice Hunger Games right in front of the PSA board. All 15.
What
Yeah,
is
we better-
wrong with you?
we better-
Grown-ups, for
we
God's
are.
sake.
We
This is
better
not
make
the
sure that
state
Rachel buys
legislature.
lunch if we do that. We'll be here
Just
all
to maybe
day.
clarify, I think what you're describing are sort of like three different perspectives of the role that the Forward Pinellas MPO takes.
Mhm.
Traditionally, it has been a Pinellas County-focused metropolitan planning organization that, unfortunately, at least for public transit, has prioritized and focused mostly on approving and providing a little bit of input that wasn't always listened to the Florida DOT on road projects throughout Pinellas County. That is what, but under Whit Blanton and the new perspective with the Pinellas Planning Council combined, it is changing and evolving. They have obviously key responsibilities over the Transportation Disadvantage Program with their local coordinating board that Patty is certainly knowledgeable about because she's the chair of that board. I do think, however, though, that what Commissioner Long was talking about is sort of the hot topic of today and the main topic that is going on discussions at every single meeting over the next, year or so are going to be about this debate that is going on right now in the Tampa Bay region between who is going to take on the responsibility for ensuring or overseeing that this premium transit study, which has now come out with a recommendation of this bus rapid transit from St. Petersburg to Tampa to Wesley Chapel, who is going to take the responsibility on shepherding that through and overseeing that. The legislature did identify in their legislation that it'll be T-BARTA.
And so did FDOT.
And
Remember,
FDOT did as well.
FDOT requested that we assume responsibility, and we took a vote, and we did that.
And
And
T-BARTA
our-
has taken a vote, and they've
Yeah.
actually just sent me a MOU that they would like PSTA and they, Hart and everybody to sign off on that. But at the same time, there is a separate discussion going about merging the MPOs, merging the
Right.
Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Pasco MPOs into one MPO. And a consulting firm has been hired and
Got that point. That's very important.
a study is underway now to identify best practices, is what they're calling it, or key recommendations on how a merged MPO might be most effectively set up in the region. There are people that are in favor of that, and there's some people that are very opposed to that. Lots of people that are on MPOs now seem to be coming out opposed to that, because obviously a merged MPO may have a different board structure, and they may think that it would no longer be on there, or they would have trouble representing their area. But this has come up when we had our joint PSTA and Hart meeting. It came up at the TMA meeting, which is the group that currently represents all three MPOs. And then it came up a little bit even at the last T-BARTA meeting about I think folks are sort of saying like, well, which is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a merged MPO, or is it gonna be T-BARTA? I personally don't think that is an either or. It seems to me that could be, we could work on that,
Collaborative.
together, and it could be one, but that is going to be a major discussion going forward. I think what you were describing, which is a little, I think it was just a timing disconnect, was obviously there's lots of people wondering, well, how are we going to pay for this BRT? Or how, if there's a local component to funding it, how's that going to be worked out with all the counties? T-BARTA's motion was that they were going to sort of be the leaders in that, but at the last Forward Pinellas, or at the December Forward Pinellas meeting, Councilmember Jim Kennedy from St. Petersburg, he sort of jumped the gun, and he said, well, oh my gosh, we need to come up with a local funding source, and he directed Whit Blanton there to have a meeting with the county administrator to start a discussion at Forward Pinellas about coming up with the money. Councilmember Kennedy is no longer on, because he's no longer a councilman, so it was like a little bit before everybody else got around to it, but
then I went to the county administrator and asked him not to move forward on that because, excuse me, we hadn't had that discussion at T-BARTA yet on the funding, number one. Number two, we've got to get the cost of the BRT feasibility plan more firmly under our belt. Number three, we have yet to begin the discussion, which Commissioner Gerard knows we started yesterday, talking a little bit about the 6th cent on the bed tax that is unallocated, that we're going to find out in a week and a half whether or not that's going to be totally freed up, and that's a possibility for transit.
We also talked about gas tax.
And we talked about the gas tax. Hence my point, the county is going to be critical in terms of moving all these issues forward in concert with T-BARTA. And I know I said it, but we have to be also cognizant that we're going to lose Commissioner Maroney in November. So all the timing, the stars align, it just, just a really big, important decision. No offense to anybody. Really, I love you all. And I will cede to whatever the recommendation is, but I think we have to do that.
My one other comment I would just like to say for the record is I have been appreciative of Bill Johnson's being the PSTA representative, simply because of the fact that he has, in my mind, been a PSTA advocate on Forward Pinellas. I'm sure he also advocates for Clearwater things, but at our one-on-ones, and then I think even at the planning committee, he has said, now we have a Forward Pinellas meeting coming up this month. What items should I advocate on behalf of or against, or what role should I play at the upcoming meeting vis-a-vis these transit or PSTA projects? So that's been great. That's great. I think a good way to view this. This is designed to be a PSTA representative.
Commissioner Johnson?
No offense.
I don't take
In
any
our
of this
trips
personally.
to the Capitol to talk to DOT, to the legislators, to the senators, I have been able to communicate and leave with a favorable taste in their mouth for what we have done, what we can do, what needs to be a part of T-BARTA. And I think Brad will agree. And we've talked about how we will sit down and work with other counties. And all of the legislators and senators that have heard that are so very impressed the PSTA would do that. And I would like to continue across that path to make us the most popular people in the world.
No, we are.
We've really done well, Janet.
We
You
have.
would be happy.
I know we have. I've been there too, Patty, and I've been in Washington. Commissioner Gerard has too. We know that, and by the way, for those of you that haven't been, isn't it nice to Brad so lovingly embraced by his colleagues all around the United States for the work that
Yes.
PSTA is doing?
Yep.
That's another thing put on your list, Commissioner Barkley, to make mention of when we advocate for his interests, because
Yes.
it's important to us. It puts us on the map,
Yeah.
right, Brad? All right, so, well, we've got very qualified people, no question about that.
Okay, so, do I have any further comments? Do I hear a motion of any kind?
Oh,
This is tough.
It is
This is
very
tough.
tough. Can it be 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, much as I hate, I'm feeling overburdened myself right now. I can't imagine what you, you're on everything.
Yeah.
But I do think this is kind of a critical time, as you said, for coordinating between all these entities. And you've been a very strong advocate for the regional MPOs, regional planning. So I guess I nominate Chairperson Long.
Do I hear a second?
You guys are allowed to second.
Yeah.
I mean, I would second for myself,
Yeah.
except that I
All right.
would like to see.
Okay, I'll second that.
I don't think the chair can
I can't second?
make a motion
Okay,
or
I will
second.
disregard what I said.
And not
Just trying to move
taking,
things
and I
along.
know you don't take it personally, no one, what I was sitting up here when I was going through and trying to figure out who I was gonna vote for, and Patty, you've done great work with, TD and everything, you, T-Barda, and that's why this is a critical, you know, that we get the right person on there. How long will this person serve?
They're 4-year terms, I know that.
4 year?
Oh, yeah.
For, well,
Unless somebody leaves, like Councilmember Johnson, it is a 4-year term
on
on the
Fort
Pinellas.
Pinellas.
That's impossible
But
in many
they'd be
cases.
filling
because
a
we're
term
Well, of
that
course.
we
Well,
already
yeah.
started, so I'd have to go back to my papers or somewhere
Yeah, sure.
to see
Sure,
when
it'd be less than
that
that.
term actually started, so, and there may be only maybe 2 years left, or,
Yeah.
you know, I'd have to look at that.
Did
I think it was
second?
fairly
No,
recent.
Oh,
not
I'm
yet.
sorry.
You were talking.
Sorry, but I second her motion.
Okay, all right.
It's a big commitment.
It's for,
And my only hesitation, and I should just shut up for the rest of the day. I've already got, if y'all watch the news tonight, you'll see everywhere. Is that we would then have 4 county commissioners on there.
Yeah.
Only for a few months.
Well, but
Well-
we have 3 appointments,
Until November.
and then,
Right, however, we have 4 appointed county commissioners on PSTA, and it hasn't been a problem. We've not penalized any cities or any
well, that's
issues.
true.
I mean, I don't think
True.
we're
It's
very
about the same,
parochial
isn't it?
on the county
Is it
commission.
15?
I'm sorry?
Is it
15.
15? All right.
No, I think they have 13.
No.
No, I thought she was asking about PSTA.
No, I
PSA
was
has
asking
15,
about
MPO has 13.
Oh.
PC.
Right.
No.
Because they don't have the 2 citizen appointees.
Right, okay.
But they have-
Hence,
Okay.
another reason for Brian, yeah,
Yeah.
we need an elected official.
All right, any discussion?
Right, for sure.
Well, I still I can't nominate myself, but
Mhm.
I'm still telling you that I don't have as much to do as you do, Janet. And it's very admirable that you want to take on the MPO as well as T-BARTA and the whole county. Well, I just would still like to be considered.
Now, does Pinellas Park, you were saying that the mayor is the current person.
Yes.
Pinellas Park does get a,
Yeah, they do have-
they get a position on the MPO.
Yes. If they show up.
Well, that sounds like.
Oh.
You heard that?
Yeah,
Gee.
so,
Well, let me
I
tell
can
you,
appreciate,
they
'cause I had
only
the same-
she only showed up 5 out of 10 times this past year.
Well, I think we already talked about
Yeah.
the charter review.
Charter review was 2 out of 10.
Problem.
okay,
Well, there's a motion on the table. Can I
Yes,
call
sorry.
for the question?
yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just me.
2,
2.
so 3
Well,
to 2.
we still have to take it to the full board, so.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
And I have to leave.
Okay.
I have to be somewhere 11:30.
all right. I believe that is all that is on
That's on our list.
our agenda at this point. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Okay, all right. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. This is gonna be a fun meeting.
Yeah.
Bring your lunch.
So what happened to personnel?
Personnel, we
Differing
decided,
opinions?
yeah, well, we decided to, you're talking about planning, you mean?
Planning.
No.
Personnel, recommended, 4%.
Oh, yeah, 4%, yeah.
Did we have much disparity in the
No.
ratings again?
Well,
No,
our disparity-
less disparity